Hey there, and welcome. Today, we're going to dive into the world of precious metals. But we're not just looking at the shiny stuff itself. We're going to decode the numbers. We're going to take that confusing grid of data you always see online and turn it into something you can actually read and, understand with confidence.
All right, so let's just jump right in. You go online to look up the price of gold or silver, and bam, you're hit with something that looks a lot like this. It's just a wall of numbers, a dense table packed with figures and labels.
And if you're looking at this thinking, whoa, what am I even looking at? Trust me, you are not alone. It can feel pretty intimidating, and it's definitely not obvious what each of these numbers is trying to tell you. But here's the good news. It's way simpler than it looks. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to break this thing down piece by piece. And I promise, by the end of this, you'll be able to glance at a table like this and know exactly what's going on. Let's start with the big one, the most important concept on the whole page. That term you're going to see everywhere is spot price. This is really the foundation for everything else you see on the table. So if you can get this one concept down, you're already halfway there. So what is the spot price? Well, think of it as the live, right now, this very second price. It's not what the price was yesterday, and it's not a guess about what it'll be tomorrow. It's the price for a deal happening, well, right on the spot. It's literally the now price. A good way to think about it is like that stock ticker you see scrolling at the bottom of a news channel. It's always moving, always updating to reflect what the market thinks an asset is worth at this very moment. This is the baseline number that everything else is built on. Okay, so far so good. But here's where things get a little more interesting. Because if you look closely at that table, you'll notice there isn't just one price listed for each metal. There are actually two. And that's a great question, right? Why on earth would gold have two different prices at the exact same time? Well, it really gets to the heart of how these markets actually work. And the answer is simple. It all depends on whether you're buying or selling. This is where two super important words come in: bid and ask. It's pretty easy to remember. The bid price, that's what a dealer is bidding to buy the metal from you. And the ask price, that's what they're asking you to pay if you want to buy it from them. So, simple rule. You sell at the bid, you buy at the ask. Always. Let's make this super clear with a real example from that table. Okay, so for gold, we can see the dealer is bidding $5,953.71 to buy an ounce from you. But if you want to turn around and buy that same ounce from them, they're asking for $5,956.28. See that? The ask price is always just a little bit higher. And that little gap, that tiny difference between the ask and the bid, in this case just $2.57, that's how dealers make their money. It's called the spread. It's basically their fee for making the trade happen. And the size of that spread can also tell you a little something. For really common things like gold, the spread is usually pretty tight, pretty small. But for rarer metals, you might see a much wider spread. Okay, so we've got the prices down. But what about the actual stuff being sold? Because this table has a few surprises beyond just your typical gold and silver. So if we just scan down the list here, we see the ones we expect, right? Silver, gold, platinum, palladium. Checks out. But then, wait a minute. We see nickel. And we even see Bitcoin and Ethereum. What are they doing here? I mean, that's a good question, right? Gold, silver, those are classic investment metals. Nickel, though? That's an industrial metal. It's used to make stuff, like stainless steel. So why is it getting top billing on a site like this? Well, it turns out the website itself gives us a huge clue right in its menu. See, they've got a whole section called electric vehicle metals. And it turns out nickel is absolutely critical for the batteries that power electric vehicles. So it's become this really hot commodity tied to that massive trend. And that's a great example of how these tables aren't just numbers. They tell a story about what's happening in the wider economy. It's the same reason you're seeing Bitcoin on there. It's just another asset that people are tracking right alongside the traditional stuff. All right, let's pull this all together. We know about the spot price, we know about bid versus ask, and we get the spread. So now let's go back and look at that full table with fresh eyes. Okay, let's do it a quick speed run using silver. We can do this now. First, the asset, silver, priced by the ounce. We see the bid. That's what a dealer will pay you, $11.86. Then the ask, what you'll pay them, $11.6005. And hey, look over here, we can even see how it's done today. It's up almost $4, a jump of about 3.5%. And just like that, an entire line of what looked like gibberish before now tells you a complete story. Pretty cool. So here's your simple 3-step guide, your new cheat sheet. Anytime you see one of these tables, just remember this. 1.
Identify the asset. What are we talking about? 2. Check the two prices, the bid for selling, the ask for buying. And 3. Remember that the little gap between them is the spread. That's it. That's the whole game.
And one last but really, really important thing. Let's look at this site's own disclaimer. It says right here that all this data is for informational purposes only and isn't intended as financial or trading advice. And that's exactly what we're doing here today too. The whole point is just to help you understand what you're looking at, not to tell you what to do with that information. So the next time you come across a wall of financial numbers, don't click away. Don't be intimidated. Because you've got the tools now. You know how to start decoding it. The question isn't, what does all this mean anymore? Now the question is, okay, what story are these numbers trying to tell me about what's happening in the world? And that's it for this time. Thanks for diving in.